Hola, buenos dias, bienvenido. Fuerteventura, speak friend and question live from the sunny Canary Islands, and thank you anybody who's going to come and join me for a little bit of SBG natter on what is a lunchtime here. Now, a couple of little things. What I've done is I've had a look at the speak friend and question, which was unfortunately on Hotgates Gaming last time out, and I've taken some notes because normally I've got my laptop with me and I'll have a little bit of a look at what the questions were and answer on here because it's impossible to do that on this. But if you guys want to ask any questions, just post them up. If I miss them, because all that will happen is they'll just pop. In fact, I'll press that. Hi, program, show live chat messages. They should just pop up on the bottom, so I'll be able to see them very briefly. But I've written down some of the questions that are from the last one. It's very, very, very bright as well, so I might have to go and find a little bit of shade to do this. And we are currently out on the beach. We're in a pretty public area, it has to be said. So last week, of course, speak friend and question accidentally on Hotgates Gaming, so I do apologise for that. Let's go for a little walk. And we did have a few questions on that, so thanks everybody who managed to find that and join in, which was amazing. So Stephen Bonner got involved with the SBG chatter last time, as he always does, so thank you very much, Stephen. Hello, James Wilson. Thanks for joining us on the chat. So Stephen Bonner wanted to know, for next year, should he bring an all-cavalry good army, or a dwarven good army, and in the same vein, an all-cavalry evil army, or a Moria Goblin Town army? And I mean, my answer is going to be obvious all the time. It's always going to be an obvious answer. Hello from Beard and Team Angela. Hello, Team Muffet. You all right? How's it going, guys? Hope you're okay. So yeah, I'm always going to say all cavalry because that's my love, right? But it'd be interesting to see what kind of all cavalry are you looking to go for. You know, what we're looking to do with the good side. Are you looking to do sort of an all Damroth? Oh, hello, Stephen Bonner. I know that I keep cutting out. Are you going to do Rohirrim? I know I keep cutting out, guys. I'm going to go and find somewhere and stay still very, very shortly. Probably going to go up by the pool somewhere. Are you going to do Rohirrim? Are you going to do all Dol Amroth Knights? That'd be a really cool theme. You can do Rivendell Knights. You've got to use what tools you've got at your disposal. I mean, what are your disadvantages when you're cavalry? Well, a lot of the time you're going to be outnumbered. So, you know, missile fire can be pretty good and useful for that. Here we go. There we go, is that a bit better? I'm going to come up here. Let's come up here and sit in the shade. Like that, guys. Can you see me? Any of you watching? There we go. Hope you can see me. So it really depends what you're going to go for. If you're going to be outnumbered, then of course having missile fire is going to allow you to kind of even that up a little bit and force your opponent to chase the game. But it's not always about that. It's just knowing, you know, when to hit, how to hit. I think that a lot of the time when people hit with a cavalry, sometimes they overcommit. Remember, the most important turn with cavalry isn't the turn that you charge when you've lost priority. It's the turn after and trying to make sure that you win. Well, there's nothing you can do about it, but it's the winning of the roll-off. Be interesting to see what kind of all-evil army is it that you're looking at going for, Stephen Boner. That'd be quite interesting to see which way you go with that. Are you going to do for an all-warg rider army? Hunter Orcs on Fell Wargs? That'd be quite a cool army, I think, especially with some of the army special rules. Hello, Jez. I know I was wandering around the beach before and then completely forgot I'm, of course, attached to the Wi-Fi at the hotel. So a little caveat here. I am at the hotel at the moment. Jane is with Eleanor. I don't want to leave her too long. But I did want to make sure that we keep the loop going because we've been a little bit more frequent with content as a team lately. I hope you've all been checking out the various bits and pieces which have been going up from the team. So I know that Steve made a video with Jay Finnegan. They're going to be offering previews of tournaments like back in the old days with their What News from the Mark, I believe. Jez Hunt, it's grey and raining here, you're missing out on our lovely weather. Well, I watched some of the Man United, I watched Match of the Day last night and it didn't look very nice in Manchester. The aim of it, how excited are you on the big Ardcon announcement tomorrow? Ooh, spoilers. I'm incredibly excited about the Ardcon announcements for everybody tomorrow. Robert Camp, sat in work, watching you in the sun, very jealous. It's a good time for us to get a break. Yeah, so for those of you that aren't aware, there will be a huge announcement for Ardcon SBG International 2018 tomorrow. So for those of you that are in the know, I hope that you are ready. And for those of you that aren't, get yourselves ready. If you're part of a team, you were part of a team last year, or you want to be a team, if you're from the UK and Ireland, so what we'd call the GBHL home nations, then make sure that you contact David Clubley. Where will we find this announcement? Alexander Ekstrand says, if you go onto Facebook and you check out the Ardcon SBG International 2018 page, if you're not on it, ask to join it and I'll accept you at some point today, probably after this. The announcement will be made there, so keep an eye out for that. But I'm just going to say this, I mean, you're going to have to be quick on it, guys. Now, I know that it's very easy to say stuff like that. Hey brother, hi Diamond Pixel Guy, hey Tollis KLK, hey dude, hey to you too. I know that it's easy to say it as a kind of like almost a sales or marketing thing. Big Ardcon announcement and the boss decides to go on holiday, typical. That's Benjamin Bowles, my partner in crime in Manchester. Yeah, I know it's an easy kind of sales spiel to kind of chuck out there, you know, and say, oh, make sure that you get on it, you know, don't miss out and all that kind of thing. But we've got good reasons to be optimistic. So make sure you're on the Ardcon SBG International page. That'd be awesome. Get yourself on there and look out for the announcement tomorrow. And if you're part of a home nations team, so an Ireland or UK team involved in GBHL, then speak to David Clubley and speak to him quickly, probably today before the announcement. And same, if you're from around the world, particularly if you are from, off the top of my head, if you're from Denmark, or you're from, so all our Mark Bebbes and Morten, Ben Dixon and Christian Jensen, all of you guys, if you're from Denmark or you're from Poland, speak to Andreas. You know, that's going to be pretty important. Am I good at terrain making? Just been a question then. Not particularly. I might be if I gave it a go, if I had the patience. So much to do, so little time. If you want to go and check out terrain making tutorials, then the people that I'd recommend, of course, we've got our very own GBHL Steve over on Top Table Wargaming. He does some terrain tutorials, so go and check him out. Of course, other people that I could recommend are other channels. You've got the Terrain Tutor, which is Mel. He's very, very popular, as is Luke Fellows of Luke APS, Luke Affordable Painting Service, Luke APS. Go and check that YouTube channel out. And if you do comment on them, say that GBHL James or Hotgates Gaming James sent you. They're good for terrain tutorials. Jez, I just seen that you asked a question before, but I missed it because they flash up momentarily on here, and I'm not sure on the live video on the iPad how to actually get the questions back up. Who knows? So if you do ask a question, if I don't answer it, just ask it again, and hopefully I'll catch it as it comes up on my screen, which should be good. So we had another. Oh, no problem, Tollis. You're welcome. Tenada. We had another question last week from Middle Earth SBG Ireland. See, the guys in the Irish Hobbit League are smashing it. He's put, have you ever sold an army? Have you ever sold an army? It's a tough one. I nearly did. In the run-up to Ardcon last year, when I was very, very, very worried, I nearly sold a bunch of stuff, and I might still do it, but I haven't done it yet, I don't think. I was tempted to sell off nearly everything. I think I was a little bit disheartened because, you know, I put a lot on the line for Ardcon. It's a massive, massive gamble, and you know, don't get me wrong, it'd be great if it had paid off, obviously. But you know, it was a close run thing. If it wasn't for the generosity of lots of people and the amazing PMG, who was front of house last year selling the tickets and everything, you know, from a financial point of view, it was very, very scary. So I nearly did sell off, and I got some great offers for things like my Corsair Reavers, which I might still sell off. I don't really like the look of them. You know, it's not my kind of cup of tea, I don't think. And I nearly sold everything off. I was thinking about selling off my Grey Company, and I was thinking of selling off. You know, I even got an offer for my Rimmerdale Knights, you know, and I'd be loath to sell that off. I've got a bunch of things as well. I nearly sold off my Easterlings, so I might do in the future. Alexander Ekstrand says, how would you recommend getting friends into SBG? Well, I think always the best way of getting anybody involved in any type of game is to is to, you know, if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it, then that's got to come across. And the best way of doing that is to actually sort of kind of get them to play it or to see it played. Recommending YouTube channels like this is a good way to go, because it means that you're exposing people to other people who are passionate about the game. Bribe them with beer, Angela Moffat says. Alexander says, trust me, if you sell off models, you will eventually regret it. Very true. That's always the danger. I've seen lots and lots of friends sell off armies and models and then regret it and try and buy them back or buy other armies in the future. Very, very, very true. So yeah, I'm getting loads more questions here. We've got Stephen Bonar, named race on horse. I think he's given a list. Stephen, there's no way I'm going to be able to read those kind of things that quick. Probably try and keep your questions short-ish, because they pop up on the screen for what must be about 8 seconds. About 8 seconds, if that. So yeah, another good way of getting people involved in the game is to play a lot of the starter scenarios. So ask the people, you know, what did they love about Lord of the Rings? Most people, you know, a lot of people like Lord of the Rings, don't they? Or The Hobbit. And ask them, you know, what their favourite characters from the books and the movies, and maybe get a scenario going with that, or let them play using the things that they know and love. And then you can get that kind of cinematic experience. Sometimes it could be a good thing to kind of give them the heroes. And have them play against troops. They can get that kind of that feeling of winning, and it's 28 words long, Stephen Bonar says. Yep, that's too long. I can read things that are that quick, but it literally flashes on the screen and then it goes off. So I don't have time to read anything that's a big block of text. Sorry, buddy. So yeah, those are really, really good ways of getting people involved in the game. So another question from last week, we had King Bone's Eye. And he was talking about Lindir and why Lindir, well, we don't see him that much. And it's very much because his resistance to magic rule is operational after he moves. He kind of like sings a song, almost like the Elven Sentinel kind of things. But of course that means if your opponent's got priority, then the resistance to magic isn't really going to help. And also how you position him is going to be pretty tough. So King Bone's Eye suggests that maybe Lindir should have like a resistance to magic aura, and that would make him a bit more relevant. And I would probably agree. I'd probably agree with that. Tolly says, do you know anything about Lord of the Rings SBG tournaments? Yes, I do very much. I've run quite a few. You've got the Great British Hobbit League in the UK, which is very, very, very popular. And there are events, a couple of events every single month. There's something that you can go to every single month, which is fantastic. So of course, I myself, you know, now with a fantastic events team, will be running Ardacon SBG International next year. But I've also run Desolation of Stockport with Jamie many times, and there are events across the whole country. There are events by the guys in the south, the East Anglia Hobbit League, and Mid Sussex Wargamers, and you've got the guys over in Cardiff, and the guys up in Scotland are about to run a tournament on my birthday weekend. You know, so that there are events all over the place. So the best thing to do if you want to know more about tournaments is to get yourself onto a relevant Facebook group. So if you're in the UK, you need to check out the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page. That's going to be the best page to go and check out. That's going to be the best one to look at. If you're elsewhere, then, you know, again, just look on Facebook. There's tons and tons and tons of things on there that you can look at. And you'll see various events that are going on. You know, if you're in Canada, those guys have got a page. The Americans have got a page. I think near enough everywhere has got a page these days. And don't be afraid to just get on there and ask where are your local tournaments and when are they held, and you know, don't be afraid to go down and get involved. I saw a couple of you asked questions before while I was talking, so if you wanna pop them up again, maybe I'll see them and I can answer them. In the meantime, whilst you're looking at doing that, King Bone's Eye also added about what did I think about the High Elf lists, the Rivendell lists. Oh, just quickly, Devi says, do you think 100% bow limit on cavalry forces is conducted to fund interest gameplay in scenarios like To the Death and Lords of Battles? It depends. It depends. The thing is, a lot of the... it depends on your matchup, doesn't it? It depends on your matchup. So if your opponent's got a lot of tools, a lot of the tools that can make it hard for you to engage, then of course it means that there's going to be a stalemate, and that can be an issue. But a lot of the time, you know, the shooting of an all-mounted Rohan army, for example, isn't really going to be enough. It depends very much on the matchup and the points level. Right, James, my battery's at 5%. Say something interesting. I'm going to struggle with that. If you've not been watching, if you can't hear me, I'll speak louder. If you've not been watching Speak Friend and Question for the last few years, you'll know that I very much struggle to say anything interesting at all. I'm surprised this show has lasted this long. Somebody just put, what's your favourite miniature? My favourite miniature, I love Erkin Brown on foot. That's a great miniature. The Thranduil on Stag, I think, is incredible. Diamond Pixel Guy has asked again, how many miniatures do I have? Honestly, I must have well over 300, 400 miniatures, at least, minimum. Maybe over 500 miniatures, I imagine. Somewhere along those lines. So yeah, going back to King Bonsai's query, he was asking what do I think of the High Elf TOS list. So this is the one where you can get the old High Elf list leading Rivendell Knights, but of course don't have 100% bows. I think it's quite cool. He also put, you know, do I think that Theoden's Mini is turning his grave? That's a great miniature, I have to agree. Theoden's Mini is a great miniature. I think I'll prefer it when I've painted it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful miniature. Stephen Tennyson, I've already asked that. I've not sold off any armies yet, but I did think about it. How long are you on holiday? This is from Jez. Where am I? I'm in Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands, and we're going to be back on Wednesday. Lucas, you just asked a question. What did you ask? And I'll see if I can get back to it. At the moment, I'm trying desperately to skip between you guys, because remember, the chat feed, it disappears within 5 seconds. So as soon as you post, I've got about 5 seconds to ask it. So if I don't answer it straight away, just put it back up. If I don't answer your question straight away, just put your question. Diamond Pixel Guy, an opinion about Iron Hills. I think they're strong. I think they're great, a good anti-shooting army. I don't think that they're broken like lots of people thought they were originally. You know, Defense 8 is still only as good as Defense 7 against Strength 4, and there's lots of Strength 4 out there. And just the way that people have to back away and the like, and there's so much hurl and blast and things like that in the game, that you know, the Defense 8 isn't always going to be relevant, but what they are very, very good at is they're great against Strength 3 shooting in particular. So it's an army which is going to make, you know, Rivendell. People think twice about bringing Rivendell Knight armies. People think twice about bringing Mirkwood armies, or Elven armies with shooting. I honestly think that that's what the Defense 8 is best against. And of course they've got other tools in there. I really like the Iron Hills. I do think that they're strong. They're strong. The troops seem maybe a point too cheap, but they're not broken. You know, you always get it with new stuff coming out, don't you? Whenever there's anything new that comes out, everybody thinks, oh my god, that is totally broken. It's the same whenever anything is introduced to the meta. But I remember people saying it when you had the Mirkwood Rangers. People were like, oh my god, 100% Elven bows, it's going to be totally broken. And of course, Mirkwood Rangers, you rarely see sort of in the competitive tournament top table kind of side of things. So, any more questions, guys? If you want to stick any more questions up, feel free. Any questions? Well, currently I'm painting up Army of 4, and I think they'll be finished very soon. And then after that, from a Lord of the Rings point of view, I think I'll just carry on tittering away with my Rohirrim repaint, making sure that my Rohirrim are absolutely gorgeous, because I'm also going to be painting somebody else's What News from the Mark list. You can't hear? I'll try that again. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So yeah, once I finish my Army of Thrall, it'll be my Rohirrim repaint. Everyone can hear me now. Brilliant. I think my hand was over the microphone. I think that might be the problem. Yeah, Rohirrim repaint and painting somebody else's Rohirrim. Brad Thy Hipster, hey James, what do you think of the new Late Town warbands being cheaper? Do you think there'll be a Gundabad one? I hope so. It depends how well received the Late Town is, if people actually go out there and buy them. You know, we came up with the phrase "support your Hobbit hobby" a few years ago, which thankfully spread and everybody did and got behind their hobby in various different ways, and look what that's led to. And that's going to be the same here. I think it was a very welcome and seemingly generous idea. Jez Hunt, who made the GBHL logo design? That was Thomas Harrison. Thomas Harrison made that before he was a GBHL host. He entered the competition and he won that by a country mile. Tollis, an opinion about Bayon and Elrond. Elrond is slightly expensive for the amount of will that he's got in particular, so a lot of the time he's saving, because of the points level that you're probably going to be bringing him, he's saving his will to defend against magic rather than using it offensively, so it seems a bit wasted. I think that a combined Elrond profile would be very welcome, that had all of his special rules kind of combined into one, and then for about 170, 180 points you might consider him. But I think 3 will isn't really enough for him. I think if you gave him 6 will, even if he had no way of having a 3-point of will, I think 6 will would make him relevant with one of his rules. Bayon is cool. I love Bayon. Again, like with anything big and expensive in this game, at the moment, anything big and expensive, you're probably going to be bringing it at higher points levels, at which point you're coming up against lots of casters, and casters tend to shut down big expensive things reasonably easy. So as we mentioned in the things that we'd like to see video series, if you've not seen that, go and check that out. That was GBHL Steve and myself who did that series. We believe that if you change resistant to magic to be like a mini Fortify Spirit, so resistant to magic, you know, you always get to resist, and you get to resist one die. If you just change magic generally, I think just slightly change magic, it doesn't need a massive overhaul. But if you change magic, that would be that would make big things relevant again. But I love Bayon, I love the models, I love the rules for him, he's cool. Would have any streams of wargaming? There will be streams of games when we go to tournaments. We have been trying to do live streams, of course, at Ardacon. Andreas and Stig of STF, Spill Vereningen, the Fellowship, they did the live stream of selected games from Ardacon. They'll be doing that and adding to the professionalism next time around, so that'll be cool. And of course, a few of us have done it in the past as well. I know that Steve has done it for the Ultragam games, and of course, me and Jamie did it for Desolation of Stockport. And I know a few people have done it. I think Sam did it for Mid-Sussex Wargamers event, I think. Not too sure. David Whitaker mentioned that he was painting up his Gore Chosen, which is a great fun game if nobody's played it. Really good value. I think that it's just a brilliant, get out the box, have a couple of games when you're catching up with a friend, you know, and you've only got about an hour. It's a fantastic game, and I think it's a cheap way of getting those miniatures if you're into Warhammer and Age of Sigmar. So I would recommend that, and he's been painting that up, and that has encouraged him to get an Age of Sigmar Khorne army, and he saw me commenting on there because I'm also painting up a Age of Sigmar Khorne Bloodbound Blades of Khorne army, which, well, I say I'm painting it up, it's on my painting desk, and every now and again I will manage to add a little bit of red or bronze to something. I would love to get it painted. He's asked me, how do I feel that the Free Peoples of Middle-earth would do versus the armies of Khorne? Well, of course, Warhammer, they're much bigger, aren't they? They're big, strong miniatures. As much as I'd love to say the Free Peoples of Middle-earth, I think that, you know, the Warhammer universes seem to be very brutal in lots of ways. And if you mesh the rules, you know, a lot of things, what is it, you know, they just hit on a 3+ and wound on a 3+, and you know, there's not as many saves in Lord of the Rings. There's no real saves apart from Fury and the like. So I think maybe Khorne would win that. So feel free, guys, if you've got questions. I'm going to be on here for another 8 minutes or so. Callum D asked a question last week. This is the last one from the questions of last week. He asked, what advice do I give him for attending a tournament? You know, he wants to be able to watch games. What advice do I give him? Again, get yourself onto the Facebook groups. Get yourself on. Go away! I've got getting surrounded by flies here. Get yourself onto the various Facebook groups, look at the events tab, see what's going on in your area. He's not sure whether there are things going on in his area. You know, just ask. Just don't be afraid to put a post up. And then I highly recommend, you know, even if you don't want to go there and play, you just want to turn up and watch and meet people, get involved in the social side of it, because that's what it's all about. I'd recommend as well, don't necessarily go to your first tournament expecting to win or do really, really well. Take something that you're going to enjoy using and just learn, and use it as an opportunity to meet people. That would be my my biggest advice. Okay, so it's purely now, Benji B. Only because you always win at Gore Chosen. Only versus you, Benji. Benjamin just said only because I always win at Gore Chosen. Yeah, Benjamin came to come and see me. We had an important Ardacon meeting. We had an important Ardacon meeting the other day, and he came in and we played a little bit of Gore Chosen. And yeah, I did manage to win 3 games out of 3. But it's not that kind of game. There's not a huge amount of skill involved. But it is very, very, very good fun, and it's quite cinematic. You know, I can remember there was a game and I was playing against PMG, and it was one of my first games. I think we did about 3 games. So I don't forget, Stephen Bonos, but how do you become a GBHL host? So yeah, I can remember playing against PMG, and there was a game, one of our first games. It was so cool, and I was absolutely battering his character, battering him down. He'd hardly done anything to me, and he finally got me to sort of go through my wound chart the first time. And you take like a damage card when that happens, and he got like a critical hit. And basically, if he'd rolled a 6, he just outright slew my character, and he did, and it was amazing. Like, I only had to get a couple more damage boxes on him, and I was pretty much, you know, on full health apart from 1 column. And it was just great, really good fun. Would highly recommend that game. So Stephen Bonner said, how do you become a GBHL host? Well, I became a GBHL host by simply going up to Jamie and saying, look, I really want to do battle reports. I've been watching miniwargaming.com. I really like the idea of doing something like that. I can't believe that these people have made, you know, make a living off filming themselves playing a game. I find it really interesting. At the time, he was just doing like interviews for upcoming tournaments to promote the Great British Hobbit League. So that's how I became involved. I just asked him, and then other people. So Tom and Damien, Damien started becoming involved a little bit. I think we went to a couple of tournaments and Jamie did some, like an unboxing with him or did something with him. And then Jamie and I got to a point where we started to struggle to get out daily content, which was originally like our goal. I think for the first year or so, me and Jamie nailed it, and we were getting out daily content, even just little bits of content, which was cool. And then Damien offered to be like the roving reporter. And he started sort of taking up the mantle. We'd done it before, Jamie and I. We'd done it where we'd interviewed players at tournaments. Obviously, I did it at my first tournament that I went to. I interviewed Damien and Tom. That's the first time you'll see them on YouTube. But Damien very kindly offered to kind of come in, step in, take that role, and be the roving reporter. And of course, you know, when somebody gets exposed to the audience, people you know, start saying, oh, it should be GBHL Damien and the like. And then me and Jamie were talking and we were saying, well, it would help us quite a lot if even if we had kind of 1 show a week. And one thing that Damien is very good at is you know, well, I'll say one thing. Damien's very good at he's like an encyclopedia of wargaming. He's got lots of experience, and he's obviously very passionate about it, which comes across very interesting, and he's good at kind of talking about things in depth. Whereas Jamie and I, you know, we enjoyed this kind of interaction originally. So we asked Damien, and we're giving him a call to run a weekly show, and he wanted to do that with Tom, and that's how Tom became a GBHL host, and that's how the Palantir was formed. You know, they took up the mantle of doing like a weekly, like a talk show, I suppose, something. Stephen Tennyson says, when are you putting out some Age of Sigmar content on Hotgates Gaming? Soon, as soon as I've got everything painted up. Inversion says, do you only play war games? Would there be any role-play games, D&D and such? I've tried to do a role-play game once with some friends of mine who played Guild Ball, Henry and Ellie, and I have to say, it was, I can't remember what it was called. But I don't think it was particularly for me, so I probably won't be doing it. But maybe one of the other guys is into it. Other hosts, how did other hosts get involved? Well, then Jamie and I stopped being able to see each other for a long period of time for content, so we started doing a lot of content on our own, which, you know, is okay every now and again. But, you know, people like to see the interaction between GBHL hosts and between people. I mean, it's good to have this interaction, of course, as well. But, you know, if you're doing that all of the time, you can get bored. Stephen Bonner says, well, this isn't the Hot Gates gaming channel. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So yeah, Harry was did the scenarios with Jamie, and again, people started crying out for a GBHL Harry. And at the same time, I started to do some various shows with Steve. We did obviously we did Brawling at Barleyman's for a while, which was good fun. So Brawling at Barleyman's, and we also did Things We'd Like to See for SBG, that series. That was really good fun. Liam Robinson, you're so lucky you're in the sun while I'm in cold Liverpool. Well, I think Liverpool is here with us. I have to say that there are a lot of Scousers in Fuerteventura, which is nice. Obviously my darling wife's family are Scousers, so that's not the worst thing in the moment. Angela Mofat says, the beard says bring back Brawling at Barleyman's. I will do at some point. Devi says, who do you think will take the GBHL League this year? I'd like it to be someone new. That would be cool. Liam Robinson says, whoop up the Reds. Well, Jane, my wife, she's a Liverpool fan, but her family are mainly Evertonians. And I'm, of course, a Manchester United fan. So on my daddy day off with daughter a couple of weeks ago, I actually took her to Old Trafford, which I know that you will hate that. But I took her to Old Trafford and got her a Manchester United baby grow and a scarf for the future. Obviously, that daddy-daughter thing is going to be very important. So I was made sure I got in there early before my father-in-law got any ideas about making her a blue nose, which can't happen. Can't happen. Yeah, Brawling at Barleyman's we'll bring back at some point. You know, maybe it's Steve's got his prancing pony back now, so maybe it's something that Steve wants to take up and do. It was good because it meant that you could actually film all of the time with Brawling at Barleyman's. The time involved was the editing, and most of the time, the reason why you struggle for getting content out isn't necessarily getting the time to do the editing. It's getting the time to film enough content, and that's why me and Jamie used to be really. Liam Robinson, the only time I've been to Old Trafford is for cricket. I don't know what's nose, a Mancunian or a blue. I know what's worse, a Cockeye. So yeah, me and Jamie used to be really. Diamond Pixel, you can make a room tour so we can see where you store your miniatures, where you paint. Not right now, they're not with me right now, but I could certainly show you the man dungeon, maybe on the next Speak Friend in Question when I'm back at home, the Diamond Pixel guy. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes because then I'm gonna go back and make sure that Jane's not on her own around the pool. Liam Robinson, the Scousers stole anything yet? No, but I have noticed there's a distinct lack of rats around here, so maybe they've been on the barbie. I don't know. No, only joking. I love Scousers. I was, of course, part of a Scouse regiment when I was in the army. I was a Kingo, so Stephen Bonner, only his heart. Any more questions, guys? I don't want to keep Jane too long. Any more questions? What I'll do is, I know that this might affect the Wi-Fi, but I'll take a little walk back to the room and go and get our phone. Any questions while I'm walking, everybody? Get to show you everyone. Diamond Pixel guy. Thanks everybody who's joined me, by the way. It's always good to have a little bit of an SBG natter and keep contact with you guys. Keep the loop going as and when we can. That's always good fun. So you can see that's the pool, everybody. That's where we are. Take a little trot back to the room. Jez Hunt says enjoy your holiday. I certainly will, Jez. Thanks very much for coming and joining us on the Q&A. Inversion put good luck. Resco Nesco, hello buddy. What do you think of the hierarchy of heroes for the Army of Lake Town? Oh, that's a very good question. Hierarchy of heroes. It depends on the points level. I think at high points level, if you can get, I think Bard is very important in Lake Town, which is fantastic. Brad the Hipster just put, where's the cocktail? I've not been on cocktails, I've actually been on the carver. I've not been drinking too much beer because I'm trying to look after myself to a degree, so I've been having the odd... There we go guys, we're in my room. Back in my room now, so the connection shouldn't be too bad. Angela Muffet, enjoy the rest of your holiday, and thanks for doing this above and beyond, as usual, from Bulgaria. I'm not going to go yet, guys. You don't need to disappear. So things I would like Forge World to release. I know that I was disappearing for a second there. Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to Lord of the Rings stuff and seeing. It's going to be so hard not to buy, but I'd love to see like Gondor being redone, Rohirrim being done. Just, you know. I think that they've done such a good job, particularly with the Iron Hill stuff. I love the Iron Hill stuff that's come. They've done a good job with all of it, but I think the Iron Hill stuff I've really enjoyed, which has been super cool. So yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to being re-released the most. Any more questions before I disappear off? Any more? I'll stick around for a second, cool down in the room a bit. I came back to the room because we needed to charge the phone, which has been our camera. So it's got a bit of charge now, so I'll probably take it back to Jane shortly. But I'm having a great time here. I mean, this place has been fantastic for a first holiday for Eleanor. She's obviously been awesome because she is. She, the flight. She slept for takeoff, and for landing there was a bit of this, but she never stirred really. She was attached to me for the flight, and what's been great here is she's been eating so many kind of different foods, and which has been amazing. She's been loving the melon, which has been pretty incredible. And because of course it's the same time zone, bit of sunshine, and a good point to get a break as well, because of course yes, everything's happening with Ardacon, which is obviously a big deal. So the timing, in some ways, you could say the timing's not the best for that. There we go. Hello, that's a bit better, isn't it? So yeah, in some ways the timing's not been the best because of course we've got some Ardacon, big Ardacon news coming up. But at the same time, it means that when I get back, it'll be my 30th birthday on the 7th of October. And then once that's passed, that's me. I've had my relaxing time, and I'm going to hit it hard. Obviously, helping the guys who are part of the team for Ardacon, doing all of their the bits that they've been smashing out the park and doing such a great job with. And also, I've had some big news with regards to my business. So for those of you that have been in touch and conversing back and forth, you'll know that the mill where I run my gym at the moment, it got bought last year. About this time last year it got bought, and they're looking to turn it into residential apartments. My lease ran out midway through this year, and I've just been rolling on, but of course I can't get a new lease because they're looking to go residential. So I've been looking for a new home for my gym, and it looks like when I get back I'll be signing a new commercial lease agreement for a new gym. So it's going to be exciting times. So much work to do, but I am really looking forward to it. So it's been a good break. Dominic Adams, hate to be the person that asks this, but is the new Two Towers campaign episode coming out soonish? Can't wait for it. Love the channel. Hope you're enjoying the holiday. Thanks, Dominic. I've got no idea. I'm not in charge of that. Resco Nesco puts awesome. Good luck. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna need good luck. This really is gonna hopefully be the next step for my business. That's really what I need it to be. So it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I am looking forward to it. I'm excited. It's a lot more expensive, so that it's a bigger risk, and the project itself is going to be very expensive. So we're going to probably have to look to get investors and secure. Maybe even borrow money to be able to do what it is that we want to do. But I guess that's how you go from being a small business to hopefully being a medium-sized business in the next few years. So that's the goal. Lots of things to look forward to. Any more SBG questions? I'm enjoying this. It's nice and cool in this room. It's hot outside. Any more questions? Any more SBG questions? I'm here. Felix Fluck, I know it's not on topic, but what are your thoughts on Age of Sigmar? I like the miniatures. I do like the miniatures. You know, I never really thought I'd like the aesthetic of Warhammer, but I have liked the kind of the Khorne stuff. I think it's all very camp in its kind of weird way. It's all very out there. But the miniatures are good fun to paint, and I think Sigmar itself looks quite fun to play. There are a few elements of it. I like the fact that it's pretty simple and easy. There are a few elements I would like the next edition of Age of Sigmar to borrow back from the new edition of 40k, which I think would really polish it up. So there are a couple of things I don't like about Age of Sigmar, which are because of the nature of how the game works, having 2 turns in a row. So you roll for priority just like in SBG, but because you do everything, there's no like you do movement, they do movement. There's no way of responding in Sigmar. You know, if I go first, I do all of my phases, and then my opponent does all their phases. So if you're both rolling for priority for each turn, you can get a situation where like, I go first and do all my stuff, but you're out of range, so don't really do it. Then you go next because it's still turn 1, it's your go, and you come up and you're able, because I've had to move forward, you do some of the things that you want to do, and then you roll for priority and you get to go again, so you can get like, effectively 2 turns back to back. And I would like them to kind of steal that back from 40k, because you have to do all of the phases in one go. It should be really that who goes first and who goes second on each turn is determined at the start of the game. So that's what I'd change for Age of Sigmar first of all. The second thing I would change is another thing that they do in the new 40k edition, is making charging units, you know, the fact that you've charged more important. So in Sigmar, you can charge everything into combat, and then if it's your turn, you pick which unit is going to attack first. So let's say I've charged everything in, all of my Khorne stuff's charged in, and then I'll be like, right, I would like my Khorne Lord on Juggernaut. He's going to attack first. He's going to attack this unit first. But then you get to pick the next unit that attacks back, and then I pick, and then you pick, and then I pick. Whereas I like the kind of the tactical importance of actually managing to get your charge off, which in the new 40k edition, you've got that, and they've kind of rectified it. I think the new 40k edition has definitely taken on board everything from that they've learned from Sigmar, and then kind of made it into a slightly more, it's still simple, but a slightly more, I'm not going to say complicated, because it's not a complicated game, but slightly more sophisticated than Sigmar. Sigmar doesn't seem particularly sophisticated, it just seems really good fun. But I think that you could still just make a couple of little tweaks like that, which would make Sigmar a much better game in lots and lots of ways. So that's what I think of Age of Sigmar. I think it's going to be good fun. I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm looking forward to using my Khorne Bloodbound army. I've been, if you don't like the Hot Gates Gaming Facebook page, go and like that page, because I've often been putting up pictures of my progress of my Khorne Bloodbound and other bits and pieces that I do, such as Guild Ball and the like. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Any more questions, guys? Anybody who's joining me here in sunny Fuerteventura, any more questions, any more SBG questions before I clock off and head back to my beautiful wife and beautiful baby who are by the pool? I think we're probably going to go for lunch. Zine OG, do you think that the new rules for Lord of the Rings Hobbit should incorporate some of the rules in Age of Sigmar 40k, or do you like how it is now? Ooh, good question. So I think that the Hobbit rule set is one of the best gaming rule sets in so many ways. There are a few things that, as I've been exposed to more and more different war games, there are obviously flaws. There are flaws in it, but on the whole, it's a great game that gives you fantastic moments. Some of the things I don't like about SBG, I say don't like about it, I love SBG. SBG is my love, because I love Middle Earth, and I think I do think it's a good rule set, which rewards you being a good player for the most part. But you can get situations when you've got two good players playing against each other. I mean, you can get it in other situations as well. But 2 good players playing against each other at SBG, both using pretty good armies, you know, games can come down to 1 50-50 roll-off, and that happens a lot, you know, or whether you get priority or not, or who actually strikes up, and that can affect the entire game. Now, I know that can happen in any game, you know, where you get dice spikes one way or the other, but there's a lot of 50-50 roll-offs in SBG. and I think ways of changing that would be good. What would I borrow from? What would I borrow from Age of Sigmar and 40k? I like the simple. I mean, it's not particularly tough, but I do like the simplification in 40k of the wound. How, you know, what you need to roll to wound. I don't like it in Age of Sigmar where it's completely simplified. So you just like, you'll always wound on a 3+. I don't like that. I like the idea that actually strength and defense mean something. But I do like the simplification of the table. I know that Devin tried to do that, and basically it's, you know, if your strength is equal to the armor, it's a 4+. If your strength is +1 to the armor, it's a 3+. If it's -1 to the armor, it's a 5+. If it's double or more, it's this. And I do like that as a kind of simplification. I think that's not a bad idea. Other things that I would change, I'm not too sure. I mean, there are lots of things that I would probably tweak with SBG. A few things that I would tweak with SBG, but if you want to know some of those things that I would tweak with SBG, go and check out the Rules We'd Like to See series that GBHL Steve and myself did a little while ago, because that was cool. That was a fun series to put together. We enjoyed doing that. So yeah, that's what I think about that. Saul has got on his, but hello GBHL podcast. Hello, I've been listening for a while and have been getting interested in touching my Netsuke. What are your thoughts on that? Thank you. I have no idea what a Netsuke is. Benjamin Bowles, what are you hoping for the Oscilia Pelennor supplement next year? Ooh. If you're going to do a Pelennor supplement, I'll come back to that one. David Whittaker put, I would quite like to see something similar to War Scroll battalions in SBG. Do you think these could work? Yes, I like that idea. And keywords is an interesting one. Keywords is an interesting one because you could definitely do that in SBG. You know, where they use the keywords. So they've got like there are alliance-based keywords and keywords corn, and certain things will only affect certain keywords. I do like that, and they've done that in 40k and in Sigmar. So maybe that's something which could translate across really well. But yeah, War Scroll battalions. I like the idea of that because I like army bonuses. I really like army bonuses, but I don't like that. I don't like that there are only kind of like at the moment. Okay, if you bring a pure army of that, that's the bonus. I like the idea of having lots of themey bonuses and having a War Scroll battalion kind of style system where you could, you know, where you can drop in thematic things, and as long as it's, you know, they've got the same keywords or whatever, then those individual things get certain bonuses. I think that's pretty cool. You know, so if you brought Faramir and 12 Knights of Minas Tirith, that there is some kind of bonus that formation, as it were, kind of got, and you had to pay extra points to get that bonus. I think that's a pretty good idea. You know, where okay, if you bring Faramir and 12 Knights, I'll use that as an example because of course we're talking about Fall of Oscilia and the like. If you bring Faramir and 12 Knights, you know, he counts as a banner, and you pay. He counts as a 6-inch banner, and you pay an extra 25 points or 50 points to have that. I don't know. That's how War Scroll battalions works in Age of Sigmar. So maybe. I can't remember what the question was I was answering before. So if you want to answer again, I know that someone was asking about hierarchy of Lake Town heroes. I think a Bard, Gandalf, in high enough points is pretty good. The children are pretty good drop-ins now for what they enable that to do. Hilda, +1 strength on the charge is phenomenal. You know, that's things like that are really useful. Any more questions? I know that I've been doing this 15 minutes longer than I said that I would do. I'll take one more question. Whoever's the next question, I will answer it and then I will go. Next question. I am Gerard. Hey James, how do you rate the new Mirkwood after there and back again? And Benjamin Bowles. What am I looking forward to Oscilia Pelennor? Okay, so Benjamin Bowles' question, and what do I think about New Mirkwood? So Benjamin Bowles, I've already forgotten it. What was your question? What was your question? What am I looking forward to from the fall of Oscilia? I'm looking forward to maybe new Forge World minis of existing profiles. You know, at the same time, wouldn't it be great to have like a mounted Grimbold for your Rohirrim? That would be really cool. I imagine a new heroic Forge World Theoden would be great. I'd look forward to all the Rohirrim stuff. New poses. I mean, I think the plastic Rides of Rohan have stood the test of time. I think they're pretty good, but a couple of new poses would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Peter Cook, Ungoliant versus Shelob in a wet t-shirt competition. Ungoliant. Greetings GBHL, I just got on but wanted to ask what your take on the future of the Lord of the Rings Hobbit SBG, what my take on it is overall. I'm excited, fingers crossed that it all comes together and it remains a great game that's well supported with fantastic miniatures and most importantly a wonderful community. And what we've shown is that as long as we've got a wonderful united community that are willing to come together, then the game will last as long as we want it to. Liam Robinson asked, have I played Lord of the Rings Risk? No, I have not. I own it, but unfortunately Jane refuses to play board games with me no matter how hard I try. No matter how hard I try. Guys, I'm going to call it there because I'm going to go back to my wife. But I hope you enjoyed joining me for this Speak Friend and Question or Some Friend and Question live from Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. Having a wonderful holiday. I look forward to being back. Hopefully I can get maybe a guest host on next week. Maybe one of the Manchester guys can get involved. Now do remember that the live chat disappears after this, which is a shame. If somebody wants to, copy and paste it because I can't do it. In fact, if one of you guys who's watching this now, copy and paste. Stephen Bonar, I can't go to Stirling, it's my birthday. Liam Robinson, my Scouse friend, said you look like you're in a good hotel. Scousers are in there, yeah, lots of Scousers here. The hotel is the Barcelo Thalasso Spa or something. It's been great, been eating fantastic, the food's been fantastic, the pool's great. I've been going to the gym every day because that's good therapy for me. So yeah, the hotel has been fantastic. But yeah, if one of you guys want to copy and paste the live chat and put it in the comments after this video, that would be great. So if somebody can go and do that for me now, copy and paste all of the comments in the live chat and then paste them, and that means we can have a little look. Thank you very much, Angela Mofat. Guys, I'm going to go, so don't forget to support your Hobbit hobby. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Check out the links in the video description below of ways that you can support your Hobbit hosts, including checking me out on Hot Gates Gaming, Steve on Top Table War Gaming, the guys at SBG Magazine, of course. You know, Tom and Damien doing a fantastic job as ever. Guys, happy strategy battle gaming. Adios, muchachos.